pumpkin pie from a pumpkin is pretty easy if you know the steps. It takes a few extra steps to get the pumpkin prepared, but it'll make all the difference and you don't have to worry about buying canned pumpkin. First thing you want to do is you want to cut your pumpkin in half, which I have done. I actually cut the top off because there was like kind of a weird spot, so just to be safe I cut the top off. Then you need to remove the seeds, and that's done easiest by using a spoon such as this, a large metal spoon. So I'm just going to remove the seeds, I'm going to put them in this bowl, and then we'll probably use them to make roasted pumpkin seeds, or maybe to plant pumpkins in the spring. So get this done. Now I have preheated my oven to 400. That's what you want to do, is you want to roast your pumpkin to get the flesh nice and soft. Now you want to use a pie pumpkin, or this is a smaller variety. If you don't have a pie pumpkin, maybe you didn't grow any, or you just don't, you can use a regular sized pumpkin. That's no problem. That's not a problem at all. So let's get this off here. Okay, so now we've got our seeds removed. We're going to use those for another application. Then you want to take some salt and just sprinkle your pumpkin nicely. That's going to help draw out the moisture, and it'll help with the sweetness later when we add the sugar. Okay, so then you take your cookie sheet covered with parchment paper, and you take your pumpkin and you just lay it upside down like so. Then you're going to slide this into a 400-degree oven for 30 to 40 minutes. And you can take your kitchen knife, or if you have a paring knife, once you can slide it in there, it's done. Once you pull it out of the oven, you want to let it sit for about an hour so that you can scoop the pumpkin out without burning your fingers. So I'm going to get this in the oven, and then we'll get to the next step. Alright, so we've let our pumpkins cool down, and we just need about 2 cups for the pie. So I'm going to get this scraped out. You just scrape it out with a spoon or whatever you have. A spoon works best. I'm going to measure 2 cups, get that in the bowl real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients and get the pie all set to go in the oven. Okay, so we've got the pumpkin. I put it in here to kind of puree it because our pumpkin was a little on the dry side. It was a little bit of an older pumpkin, so you might have to do something like this. I'm going to add the condensed milk here, or the evaporated milk, and you need a 12-ounce can of that. I'm going to do a little bit more of this here. Okay, so we've added to the 2 cups of pumpkin, we've added a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. Now I'm going to add 2 eggs. I'm going to get those mixed in there, and then we're going to add about 3/4 cup of sugar. So get the eggs mixed in. Okay, so the eggs are mixed in. Then we're actually going to add some vanilla, and I make this vanilla myself. It's nice to have. Just a good serving there. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Okay, so there's a teaspoon of that. And then give it a good stir. And if you have to, do some short circles just to make sure everything's well combined. And then I'm going to add 3/4 cup of sugar. Make sure it's well combined. And this smells really good. You can smell the pumpkin and the pumpkin pie spice, and it's very nice smelling. Okay, and I have prepared a shell here in my pie pan, or pie plate, whatever you want to call it. You want to make sure your oven is preheated to 425 degrees. I'll go ahead and leave the recipe in the show notes. And once you do that, you're going to let it cook for 15 minutes at 425, and you reduce the temperature down to 350, and then you cook it for an additional 40 to 50 minutes. Usually about 45 is what it is, but you know, it may vary for your oven. You just want to make sure it's set in the center. So I think everything's well combined here. Just give it a few more shakes of pumpkin pie spice. Give that a stir, like so. Okay, so I'm gonna get this in the oven, and when it's all ready, we'll go ahead and get it out. Okay, so our pie is done, and we pulled it out of the oven. It's set to go. It took about just under an hour. So, you know, make sure you check it after the 40 minutes once you reduce the heat. I'll leave the recipe in the show notes for you. There you have it, a homemade pumpkin pie.
For more organic gardening and food preserving, visit the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com.